Mega Prize Fighter! If Virtua Fighter and Vector Man had a kid, Ballz 3D would be the result.
Hell yeah.
A rude and crude tournament fighter that seems to have been lost in the shuffle among gamers. Yet Ballz 3D is one of the most simple yet ambitious looking fighters, giving us a pseudo 3D ring to battle in, with brawlers completely made up of spheres. So how does it measure up to other fan favorites like Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat? Remember at this time in 1994, Sonic 3, Streets of Rage 3, Castlevania Bloodlines were already released, with Contra Hardcore as well as Sonic and Knuckles on the way later on. Talk about stiff competition.
Don't move.
Developed by PF Magic and published by Accolade, Ballz 3D is a one-on-one tournament fighter. We could choose from 8 spherical warriors like the Speedy Turbo, the Agile Divine, and the muscle-bound Brute Crusher. These combatants enter a tournament set up by Jester, the end boss of the game. He'll grant us a wish when we beat him, but along the way we'll bump into Jester's lieutenants like an ostrich, kangaroo, genie, and even a T-Rex. And these guys are no pushovers either. They're incredibly cheap and frustrating like any SNK boss fight. But we'll get to that soon. The controls are incredibly simple. The A button punches, B button kicks, and the C button jumps. The jumps take some getting used to. You can like half jump if you let go too soon, unlike games like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat where we take off like a rocket. Not so much here. Holding a direction on the D-pad and pressing either attack buttons will give us different moves, and each character has 2 throws. Holding away from your opponent will block. We can also perform special attacks that are unique to each fighter with a few button presses. For example, Turbo has a cartwheel kick performed by tapping forward 3 times. Boomer the Clown has a projectile attack by hitting back, forward, and punch. Very simple controls here, which isn't a bad thing at all. We can move around the 3D arena without any problems either. This is actually really cool, but it makes pulling off lower attacks and more complex special moves a little trickier. It's plain to see, there's really not much detail going on in the character department. They're made up of different sphere sizes and colors, but that's about it. Although the animal fighters, like the ostrich, snake, and T-Rex, look really nice, they are plain Jane globes. The animations are what gives this game personality and charm, though. Check out Divine giving out spankings like nobody's business, or Kronk teeing off like he's a golf pro. Even though the detail is lacking in the characters themselves, the game has a certain likability to it, and the various animations is what gives this cart life.
Good, good.
The arena itself isn't anything special though. While the floor changes color and the background changes from fighter to fighter, the arena itself stays the same. There's a giant scoreboard with large screen TVs filling the rest of the landscape, but little else. To round things off, after defeating a boss, we are treated to a short little cutscene with Jester himself handing us a new belt ranking. He sneaks off and says something, although what that is, I have no clue.
Join me. Perhaps you may be able to help solve a mystery.
One thing that really brings the game down is the music. Nothing gets the adrenaline flowing like rocking tunes while we beat the crap out of our enemies. They drop the ball here. Instead, we get to listen to overly loud techno music. It's really not that good and grating on the ears. The Genesis had loads of games with farty sounds passing off as music, and Ballz 3D is no exception. It sounded like it used the GEMS music editor, and lo and behold, after doing a little research, turns out they did. GEMS stands for Genesis Editor for Music and Sound Effects. This program was used a lot by Western developers to help with creating music for the system. There are games that use gems to great effect, but this is not one of those. Like Art of Fighting, you can taunt your opponent, but instead of sapping away their stamina, this gives us a power boost. Hitting all 3 buttons will let us taunt, and you can stack multiple taunts and unleash a one-hit kill, which is essential for beating the ostrich. However, it does come at a price. Should you taunt and the opponent hits you, you'll take that damage boost instead. Unlike most fighting games, any character you pick can morph into someone else with a few button presses. Normally this is a dedicated fighter's gimmick like Shang Tsung, but the developers made it open to anyone. It's a neat little feature, but to be honest, I never used it save for capturing review footage. Lastly, there's 2 special things we can do when our life totals reach 3 balls or less. If we're running low on energy, we can heal ourselves. By mashing the down button, we'll beg for mercy. Our health will go up as long as we keep mashing. It's kind of cool, but only really useful if you can stun your opponent. Also, if our rival is at 3 health or lower, we can perform a fatality, spheretality, balltality of sorts. Pressing up 3 times while close to them will unleash a devastating knockout blow, exploding them into a pile of balls. This is pretty sweet to find out and lots of fun to do. And so easy to boot. Very nice. The reviews at the time were kind of mixed. EGM pushed this review into the sidebar and gave them a 31 out of a possible 50. GamePro magazine gave it a nice 14 out of 20. One of my personal favorite magazines, Game Players, gave it a solid 73%, and Sega Vision stated Ballz 3D has a bunch of great ideas and is in a league all of its own. You could definitely say that. So guys, what do you think of Ballz 3D? It was a fun, unique experience. Definitely has a lot of flaws, but it's definitely not trash. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with this one. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section below. I'm Will. For those about the retro, we salute you. Take care.
Oi. Oi.